The question is that the motion be agreed to. I call the member for Lindsay.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I'm pleased to support the motion moved by the member for Hasluck. And like the member for McMahon, who is my neighbouring electorate, I too share the concerns of the increase and the rapid increase of diabetes in Western Sydney. It is something that all of us that do represent this part of Australia are quite concerned about, and it's nice to see his presence here today supporting this motion. As many previous speakers have noted, diabetes is a serious health concern for our entire nation, with 8% of Australians living with diabetes. It is fair to say everyone would know someone who is affected in some way. In January this year, I was pleased to meet a remarkable young advocate, Emma Hogan, from Glenmore Park, who at just 12 years of age is working for the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. Emma was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at age 7. Emma knows what it's like to live firsthand with diabetes, the discipline that it requires and the lifestyle to keep her diabetes under control. Lucky for Emma, she has been an amazing advocate and has a very supportive and loving family. This has enabled her to be a trailblazer in her work in getting the message out about juvenile diabetes. Unlike her friends, she can't fill up on fairy bread and take parties, but she has to weigh her food and estimate its nutritional content. Emma is just one of the many people across Australia who have been diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. Emma is particularly special because of her work to the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. Each year she participates in the Walk for the Cure, where last year she raised funds for diabetes research. What impresses me most about Emma is how effective she is at raising awareness of juvenile diabetes, particularly across her school communities, but also with how she has worked and engaged with our local media. Next year, she hopes to participate in Jump for the Cure, where she has set herself the ambitious target of raising $5,000. With this passion and commitment, I'm sure there are no bounds that Emma won't see, and I'm sure she will reach this goal. Emma's aim, though, is simple, and I quote, "Her aim is to raise both funds and awareness for type 1 diabetes. So one day there will be a cure for me and for the 119,154 people in Australia suffering from type 1 diabetes." A very noble cause from a very young and wise local woman. Through Emma's positivity and determination, I too have become extremely passionate about finding a cure for diabetes. As such, it gives me great pleasure to acknowledge the government's contribution in finding a cure for this terrible condition. I particularly want to acknowledge the government's commitment to ongoing diabetes research with a $35 million contribution to the JDRF Clinical Research Network, and further for providing additional $1.4 million for the Diabetes Insulin Pump Program. As previous speakers have noted, the number of people living with diabetes in Australia is on the rise, and as the previous member noted, also in Western Sydney. By 2035, it is anticipated that 14% of Australians will live with diabetes. Alarmingly, incidents of diabetes are 3 to 4 times higher in the Indigenous communities, which makes this a significant concern. For my electorate in Western Sydney also has one of the highest urbanised populations of Indigenous persons. Therefore, to conclude, I seek to reiterate the concern of the member for Hasluck and call on families, communities and healthcare services and industry to take urgent action to ensure, firstly, the prevention of diabetes, second, improve early diagnosis of diabetes, 3, support ongoing research into treatment and medications for diabetes. 4, effectively manage and treat diabetes. Once again, I'd like to thank the member for bringing this important issue to the House. Thank you.